The arena was buzzing with excitement, lights flashing and fans cheering from every corner. The WWE female champion strutted confidently into the ring, her presence commanding attention. She was a powerhouse, trained for years, with a reputation that made even the toughest opponents think twice. But today, she had chosen a very unusual challenge. Across the ring stood Bruce Lee. Calm, focused, and almost serene, he wasn't imposing in size, but every movement hinted at a precision and speed that seemed almost inhuman. The crowd gasped, some in disbelief. Many whispered to each other, trying to reconcile the legend of Bruce Lee with a modern-day champion standing mere feet away. The tension in the air was electric. You could feel it. Every heartbeat in the arena seemed to sync with the seconds ticking down. The champion raised her arms, smirking, thinking she had this under control. Bruce, however, remained silent, his eyes locked on hers. There was no arrogance, no unnecessary showmanship, just focus, just readiness. Fans leaned forward, trying to guess what would happen first. Who would make the opening move? Would the champion's raw strength overpower Bruce's speed? Or would his mastery of technique shock everyone present? No one could predict. That's what made this moment unforgettable. And then, the unexpected happened. The champion lunged forward, confident, prepared to show the world her dominance. But Bruce didn't react like a normal opponent. His movements were measured, precise, almost a blur to the human eye. The crowd could hardly process what they were seeing. Their excitement was replaced with awe and disbelief. If you were in the arena right now, who would you bet on first, her strength or his skill? Why? The energy shifted. People were no longer just spectators. They were part of the moment. Some were whispering, some were holding their breath. One thing was clear. This wasn't going to be a normal match. Something historic was about to unfold, and the world would watch every second with bated breath. The arena was completely silent now, every eye glued to the ring. The WWE female champion adjusted her stance, muscles tensed, eyes locked on Bruce Lee. She had faced countless opponents before, each one testing her strength and strategy, but none like this. None with the reputation, the precision, the sheer unpredictability that Bruce carried in every movement. Bruce Lee, on the other side, remained calm. He didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't waste energy on theatrics. His breathing was steady, controlled, almost meditative. And yet, the aura he projected made the champion pause for just a split second, a tiny crack in her confident facade that told the crowd something monumental was about to happen. Fans leaned forward, craning their necks, imagining what would happen in the next moment. Every spectator's heartbeat seemed to echo the tension building in the ring. The champion made her first feint, a quick jab meant to test Bruce's reaction. But his movements were fluid, almost impossible to track. He didn't just dodge. He anticipated, calculated, and responded in a way that seemed effortless. The champion's frustration started to show. She tried to increase her speed, using every ounce of strength she had trained for over the years. Bruce remained a calm storm, every motion precise, every counter a lesson in mastery. The crowd was on edge. Some gasped aloud, others simply stared in stunned silence, knowing they were witnessing something extraordinary. It wasn't just about physical combat anymore. It was a mental game, a battle of nerves. The champion realized that raw power alone wouldn't win this. Bruce's focus, his anticipation, and his ability to read even the smallest cues were rewriting the rules of the fight in real time. And here's where the moment gets even more personal. As you watch this video, imagine being there yourself. Where are you watching from? Are you in the United States, the Philippines, Japan, or somewhere else entirely? The reactions from different corners of the world would all be unique. But one thing is universal: the awe and disbelief at Bruce's mastery. Comment below which country or city you're watching this from. Let us know if your hometown would go wild witnessing a fight like this. The tension kept building as the champion's movements became more aggressive, almost desperate. She had confidence, but Bruce's calm presence was eroding it. Each strike she attempted was met with his incredible speed, his body moving in ways that seemed impossible. The audience could feel her struggle, feel the growing realization that this was not a fight she could dominate with brute force alone. And then, for the first time, the champion hesitated, just a fraction of a second. But in that moment, Bruce's eyes locked onto hers. It was as if he could see through every muscle, every thought, every plan she had. The arena was silent, the crowd collectively holding their breath. No one moved. No one spoke. Every person present, and everyone watching this video from around the globe, felt the anticipation, the same sense that something historic was about to unfold. This was no ordinary match. This was a showdown of skill, speed, and mind over muscle. And the world was watching, ready to witness history in just seconds. The moment of truth had arrived. The WWE female champion lunged forward, confidence radiating from every fiber of her being. Years of training, countless matches, and the roar of the crowd had prepared her for this, or so she thought. But Bruce Lee was different. He didn't flinch, didn't panic, didn't waste a single ounce of energy reacting. The champion swung, aiming to assert dominance immediately. But Bruce's reaction was unlike anything the audience had ever seen. His body moved with impossible precision, almost bending time with his speed. Each movement was calculated, a perfect balance of attack and defense. The strike she had trained so hard to perfect. Her opening jab was dodged effortlessly. You could see the confusion flicker across her face. The crowd felt it too. Gasps echoed, hearts raced, and for the first time, everyone realized that this wouldn't be an ordinary fight. Every second felt stretched, like the air itself had become thick with anticipation. Bruce's first strike wasn't even an attack meant to hurt. It was a demonstration, a lesson in control. With a flick of his wrist, the champion felt the force, enough to unbalance her, but not enough to harm. Yet, that split second shattered her mental rhythm. She had underestimated him, and the audience, silent witnesses to history, could sense the shift in power. The champion tried to regain control. She launched a series of rapid attacks, her speed impressive, her strength undeniable. But Bruce moved like liquid, flowing around each strike, countering in ways that were subtle but devastatingly effective. You didn't need to be a fighter to understand what was happening. It was raw skill and mastery on display. Her expression shifted, confidence giving way to doubt, frustration mingling with desperation. Every move she attempted was met with Bruce's calm, controlled responses. And yet, Bruce did not gloat, did not taunt. He simply stood there, focused, precise, a master teaching without words. The arena was completely hypnotized. Some were frozen in disbelief, others on the edge of their seats. Every spectator could feel the tension, the stakes, and a mental battle raging inside the champion's mind. The audience wasn't just watching a fight. They were experiencing a psychological duel, where every strike and dodge carried meaning far beyond the physical. And now, let's bring this closer to you, the viewer. Imagine yourself standing there. If you were in her position, facing someone with Bruce Lee's speed and precision, what would you do? Would you continue to fight, relying on your strength and training? Or would you step back, realizing the skill you were up against? If you were in her shoes right now, would you stand your ground or walk away? Type stand or walk in the comments and tell us why. As the seconds ticked by, the champion's confidence continued to crumble. Bruce's calm presence, his skill, and his unwavering focus were overwhelming. The audience could see it. She was talented, but Bruce Lee was something else entirely. He wasn't just fast or strong. He was thinking multiple steps ahead, anticipating every movement, and controlling the pace of the fight with mental precision. And then it happened. The first moment where it was clear to everyone present that this match was tilting decisively. The champion tried one last flurry of attacks, her speed desperate now. But Bruce anticipated them perfectly. A single maneuver, smooth and fluid, shifted the balance completely. The crowd erupted in silent awe. You could feel the disbelief, the tension, the mental trap that Bruce had created. Every spectator, everywhere, whether watching in the arena or imagining themselves there, felt the drama, the power, and the skill on display. In just moments, it became obvious this wasn't about brute strength. This was a battle of mastery, focus, and control, and Bruce Lee had already taken command. The champion's first strike had failed, her rhythm broken, and the countdown toward the inevitable had begun. The arena was electric, every eye glued to the ring. The WWE female champion had begun to realize that this was no ordinary fight. She had faced legends in the past, opponents she thought were unbeatable, but nothing had prepared her for Bruce Lee. He wasn't just reacting to her attacks. He was anticipating them, predicting her every move before she even made it. Her frustration was growing, and it showed. Every strike she threw, every move she made, was met with smooth, precise counters. She tried to rely on her strength, her size, her years of training, but Bruce Lee seemed to neutralize all of it effortlessly. Each attempt left her off balance, her confidence beginning to waver in the eyes of the crowd. The audience felt the shift instantly. What had started as excitement had now turned into awe and disbelief. The champion's struggle was no longer just her own. It was a spectacle for everyone watching. You could feel the tension in the air as she tried to regain control, her mind racing, calculating, searching for an opening that simply wasn't there. Then it happened. A murmur began spreading through the arena, a whisper that grew louder by the second. Someone near the front row leaned forward and said, almost incredulously, "Wait, that's Bruce Lee." The name rippled through the crowd like lightning. Gasps, stunned whispers, and wide-eyed spectators filled the stands. The champion, however, remained unaware at first. Her focus was entirely on the fight, on regaining control, on trying to prove that her years of training and her strength could overcome this seemingly impossible opponent. But the audience's reaction was growing too loud to ignore. People were standing, pointing, and talking in awe. "It's him. It's really him, the legend." The realization began to sink in. Not for her yet, but for everyone else. Bruce Lee's reputation, his mastery, his speed, and his unmatched skill were legendary. And now, they were watching him live, in the flesh, effortlessly dominating a champion trained for years. The psychological impact on the crowd was immense. They weren't just watching a fight. They were witnessing history unfold in real time. The champion's movements became sharper, more desperate. She pushed harder, using every ounce of strength she had. But Bruce Lee's composure never wavered. He moved like water, flowing around her attacks, countering with perfect timing. Every dodge, every block, every subtle strike was a lesson in precision. The crowd could feel it, the aura, the discipline, the absolute mastery of skill over raw power. And still, the champion had not yet realized who she was facing. Her frustration was growing, her breathing heavier, but her eyes remained locked on Bruce, searching for a way to break through. It was only a matter of time before the truth would hit her, and when it did, it would change everything. If you were in the crowd watching this live, what would your reaction be? Amazed, terrified, or cheering for the underdog? Comment below. The whispers spread faster. "That's Bruce Lee, the fastest hands in the world. He's untouchable." The crowd's energy shifted. They were no longer just spectators. They were witnesses to a moment that would be remembered forever. The champion felt it too, a subtle change in the atmosphere, a sudden realization that she was in a fight unlike any other. Even in the face of disbelief, she pushed on, refusing to show weakness. Every move became a test of willpower, not just strength. Bruce Lee's calm, controlled demeanor contrasted sharply with her growing tension. The audience could see it, the mental battle, the struggle for dominance, and the inevitable truth that skill and focus could overcome raw power. By now, everyone watching, both in the arena and imagining themselves at home, was trapped in the moment. They were emotionally invested, captivated, and mentally anticipating what would happen next. The stage was set for the ultimate reveal, and the tension had never been higher. The tension in the arena was almost unbearable. The WWE female champion had fought valiantly, throwing everything she had at Bruce Lee. She had relied on her strength, her speed, her years of training, but none of it was enough. Bruce remained calm, collected, his eyes never leaving hers, his movements precise, deliberate, and almost effortless. Every strike she attempted was countered flawlessly. Every feint she made was anticipated. Bruce wasn't just defending. He was controlling the pace of the fight, dictating every moment with quiet authority. The crowd could feel it. A collective awe filled the arena as they realized what was happening. This wasn't just a fight. It was a demonstration of mastery. The champion's frustration began to show. Her breathing grew heavier, her movements slightly less precise. She tried to push harder, to overwhelm him with aggression, but Bruce didn't falter. He moved like water, flowing around her attacks, redirecting energy rather than meeting it head-on. Each subtle maneuver was a lesson in skill, a reminder that speed, precision, and focus could outmatch brute force every time. The audience, now fully aware of Bruce's legendary skill, held their breath with every motion. Every dodge, every counter, every blink of movement carried tension that was almost tangible. Spectators felt like they were part of the fight, mentally on edge, emotionally invested. The champion's struggle wasn't just physical, it was psychological, and the crowd could sense it. Bruce spoke softly, barely audible, yet commanding attention, a calm warning, a reminder that control and respect mattered more than strength alone. The champion hesitated for the first time, a fraction of a second that revealed the internal battle raging in her mind. Should she keep fighting? Should she push harder, risking more? Or step back and admit the reality? If you were in her shoes right now, would you stand your ground and fight, or step back to reassess? What would you do? The champion swung again, faster now, trying to catch Bruce off guard. But he anticipated every strike. One smooth movement, and her momentum was gently redirected, leaving her slightly off balance. She realized she could not match his speed. She could not predict his reactions. The crowd gasped, recognizing the mental dominance Bruce had established over the physically imposing champion. Bruce's calm presence was overwhelming. He didn't rely on intimidation or force. He relied on skill, patience, and control. His movements were almost poetic, a flow of energy that captivated everyone watching. Every spectator, whether in the arena or imagining themselves there at home, felt their own pulse quicken. They weren't just witnessing a fight. They were experiencing a masterclass in discipline, precision, and composure under pressure. The champion's desperation grew, but it was futile. Every attempt to strike Bruce was met with subtle counters that required no effort, yet carried maximum impact. He controlled the fight without dominating, teaching silently, showing that skill and calm resolve always triumph over brute strength and aggression. By now, the psychological shift was clear. The champion understood she was facing someone beyond her experience. The audience felt it too, emotionally trapped, mentally captivated. Every second heightened suspense, and everyone knew what was coming next. The inevitable moment when the champion would have to confront her limitations, respect Bruce's mastery, and finally make the choice that would define the fight. The arena was silent but electric. History was being written in real time, and the crowd, fully aware of the unfolding drama, waited for the decisive turn, knowing it would happen in the blink of an eye. The arena was electric with anticipation. Every spectator, whether in the front row or imagining themselves watching from across the globe, could feel the tension thick in the air. The WWE female champion had fought valiantly, pushing her strength and skill to the absolute limit. But Bruce Lee remained calm, composed, and unstoppable. Every movement he made was precise, measured, and devastatingly effective, leaving the champion struggling to keep up. For a moment, it seemed like the fight would never end. She tried to fight back, her every strike demonstrating her determination, her resilience, her refusal to give in. But Bruce didn't need brute force. His speed, timing, and flawless technique were overwhelming. It was clear now to everyone present. The outcome was inevitable. And then it happened. With one smooth, calculated maneuver, Bruce Lee applied a lock that the champion could not escape. In an instant, it was over. 45 seconds had passed, though it felt like hours to the crowd. The WWE female champion tapped out. The arena erupted into gasps and stunned silence, followed by a roar of awe and admiration. It wasn't just the speed of her defeat that shocked the audience. It was the manner in which Bruce Lee had handled everything. There was no arrogance in his victory, no gloating. He simply released the hold and stepped back, calm and respectful, demonstrating that mastery and discipline always triumph over raw power and aggression. The champion, though defeated, showed respect in return. Her eyes met Bruce's, and for a moment, there was a mutual understanding, a recognition of skill, courage, and humility. The crowd erupted again, cheering for both the incredible fighter who had dominated the match and the champion who had given everything she had in a fair and spirited contest. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's skill or calmness completely surprised you? How did you react? Purpose. This draws the audience into personal reflection, keeping the engagement open-ended and safe. Bruce's mastery wasn't just physical, it was mental. He had controlled the pace, anticipated every attack, and guided the outcome without the need for aggression or intimidation. The audience could see it clearly. He had taught a lesson without words, showing the true meaning of respect, focus, and humility. If you were in her position, would you have tapped out earlier or kept resisting? Share your thoughts below. Purpose encourages opinion-based discussion, inviting viewers to mentally step into the scenario and share their perspective. Spectators from around the world, watching this unfold in their minds, were emotionally hooked. They felt the intensity, the suspense, the awe of witnessing a legend in action. The story of Bruce Lee versus the champion wasn't just a fight. It was an unforgettable demonstration of skill, patience, and the power of controlled mastery over raw strength. By the end of the match, the arena's energy had shifted. What began as tension and competition had transformed into admiration and respect. Bruce Lee's calm demeanor, the champion's courage, and a lesson in mastery and humility left an indelible mark on everyone watching. Every viewer, regardless of location, was mentally and emotionally invested, captivated by the narrative and the drama that had unfolded in under a minute. Who impressed you more? The champion for her courage or Bruce Lee for his skill and calmness? Comment below with your choice and why. Purpose drives engagement by inviting viewers to share opinions and perspectives without needing verification or facts. This was more than a fight. It was a moment that would be remembered for generations, a story of skill, patience, and humility triumphing over raw power. And for every viewer, the lesson was clear. Mastery, respect, and calm focus can overcome almost anything. The crowd was still buzzing, the energy in the arena almost tangible. Everyone had witnessed something historic, something that would be talked about for years. In just 45 seconds, Bruce Lee had demonstrated skill, precision, and calm mastery that no amount of brute strength could overcome. The WWE female champion, though defeated, stood tall and proud, showing respect for the legend before her. It was a moment that transcended mere competition. It was a lesson in courage, humility, and mastery. Word of the match spread like wildfire. Across the world, people imagined themselves watching the fight unfold. Fans from every country and city shared their reactions. Disbelief, admiration, and awe. It didn't matter where you were. Everyone was captivated by Bruce Lee's unmatched skill and the champion's incredible courage. The story became a symbol. Talent, focus, and calm composure could triumph over raw power in a way that inspired millions. Bruce didn't gloat. He didn't celebrate in a flashy way. He simply nodded, acknowledging the respect of his opponent and the audience. His humility and victory amplified the impact of the story. The champion, too, earned admiration. Her determination, resilience, and willingness to face a legend had inspired respect from everyone present. Who inspired you more? The champion for her courage or Bruce Lee for his skill and calmness? Comment below and tell us why. Purpose invites opinion-based reflection, keeps discussion open-ended and policy-safe, and encourages viewers to think emotionally rather than factually. The lesson was clear. True mastery is not about intimidation or dominance. It's about control, precision, and the ability to remain composed under pressure. Bruce Lee's performance reminded everyone watching that the greatest power often comes from discipline and focus, not brute force. Meanwhile, the champion's bravery reminded the world that strength of character is just as important as physical skill. If you were in her shoes, would you have given your best knowing the odds were against you? Share your story below. Purpose encourages personal storytelling, emotional investment, and common engagement without requiring verification or controversial content. The story didn't stay in the arena, it went global. People recreated the scenario in discussions, debates, and social media posts. Fans shared their thoughts, imagining themselves as spectators or even as fighters in the ring. Bruce Lee's lesson in precision, respect, and calm mastery spread worldwide, inspiring millions to approach challenges with focus rather than force. The WWE female champion's courage became a case study in resilience and dignity. The impact was emotional and psychological. Viewers were mentally and emotionally trapped in the narrative, feeling every second of tension, every moment of awe, and every split-second decision. The story wasn't just entertainment. It was a source of inspiration, a demonstration of humility, and proof that skill and character matter more than size and strength. If you believe no one should be judged by size or appearance, and that true skill and courage always matter, type respect in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories that inspire and amaze. In the end, the legend of Bruce Lee and the courage of the WWE female champion became timeless. The world remembered not only the victory, but the lesson behind it. In under a minute, a story of speed, skill, courage, and humility capture hearts, minds, and imaginations everywhere, leaving a legacy that would inspire generations to come.